Good afternoon. Here is the agenda for Thursday, October 8th. I shared a short video for our bell ringer from Yom Kippur. Well, it's about shofars, which are the horns used in Jewish culture, usually around holiday times. That was the bell ringer. I can send you the link in the classroom. Today, our objective were to look at economic concepts. We didn't quite get to the second part where we analyzed different economies. We spent a lot of time in class discussing and sharing and asking some good questions. We ended up reading pages 62, and we didn't quite get through all of 63. The questions for our assignment, section 3.3, were actually uploaded yesterday. They were all a part of that same assignment that included, I think on one page was world religions, on the next page were economic systems, although as you typed, you maybe started to move things around. I can show you what they look like. However, the one for economic systems looked like this. It had some boxes with vocab words and a few questions. We did not get to answering any of the questions. We just mostly did the discussion part. I'll get rid of this part. The slideshow that we used, however, is in your classroom. Really, in our reading, we got through the first few slides, and there was a lot of new terms and a lot of new words, and so we've kind of slowed down quite a bit and talked about what these things mean. Factors of production, capital, entrepreneurship, infrastructure, all of these are kind of new ideas for a lot of us, so we spent some time just talking through that. So on our assignment, we defined the first few words of our vocabulary: economy, capital, and entrepreneurship. And then on these boxes for our assignment, we drew a symbol to represent each sector. So the primary sector, we drew a symbol that would represent the primary sector and an example of an economic activity that would go there. So for some people, they drew a tractor because that represents taking raw materials like corn or beans from the soil. And in their examples of a primary sector activity, they wrote down farming or mining or forestry. They did the same thing for the secondary sector, which involves using raw materials to manufacture. So we talked about what it means to manufacture and a symbol that could represent manufacturing and different examples of what the manufacturing process looks like. And then finally is the tertiary sector, or the third sector of economic activity, which is services. So we drew a symbol that would maybe represent services and different examples of service industries, which you'll find all over the place, even just throughout your basic towns where you go and you buy goods or you get school work or school assignments from teachers. Teachers are a part of the service industry. So that's about as far as we got, and we kind of read through the section on factors of production. And we ended it right there. So we didn't get into the section where we started to talk about the different types of economic systems or indicators. I think we'll get to part of that maybe on Friday and Monday. But there's a lot of new terms, and so we slowed down. And I would encourage you, if you don't know what these words are, like infrastructure or even capital, how we use it in the economic sense, you may look those up, or I can talk you through, I guess, all of those, what they mean as well, and how we use them. A big example that we used for entrepreneurship was the TV show Shark Tank, where people help design and create a new product and pitch their idea to the sharks. So they're taking a risk, and they're being creative. They're thinking of what people might need and what they might want, and obviously then trying to get help to get it going. Capital is really unique because a lot of times we think of capital as just maybe money, but it's also, capital can also mean the tools that we need in order to produce something. So if you think about a business, different businesses will need different tools or different capital to make sure that their product is being made. It's like a painter would need ladders and brushes to make sure that his or her paint company can continue to function and run. And we also talked about infrastructure, which is how we maybe transport or share or send products and goods to different places or throughout the country. It can mean roads and highways and bridges, but it also can mean power systems, the electrical power grid or data networks. Land is fairly straightforward in terms of a factor of production. All your natural resources and your land. And labor is the size and education of your workforce, or the people who are working. So I gave you kind of a quick rundown of what we looked at in terms of our economic activities and our factors of production. We'll try to tie all of those in together when we start to look at the strength of an economy of a country. And we'll maybe do that tomorrow, although we have shortened class periods, so we may be rushed for time a little bit. And we might do that on Monday, depending on how far we get on Friday. This entire assignment, which would include section 3.3, will be due on Monday. If you have any questions, please let me know. I try to include all the materials that you may need, and I'll make sure that I get them in there if you don't have them already. All right, see ya.